Game teams not playing their own game is a mistake we see almost every team make and is one of the easiest to avoid. Hey guys, I'm Jerry, one of the growth strategists at Uptick.
And I'm Warren, the co-founder of Uptick. So we've been doing this soft launch series with y'all, and last time we covered the technical test. Today, we want to cover the retention phase of soft launch. The retention phase is really critical. Obviously, you need people in your game and returning to play your game before you can even model out things like monetization and profitability. So in the retention phase, you're going to be bringing in a larger cohort of players than you did in your tech test. And the goals here are really two-front. You want to make sure that your core loop and gameplay are not fundamentally broken in any way, and you want to make sure that your players are retaining and progressing through your game. So today we're going to provide a couple of quick tips to have an optimal retention phase of your soft launch.
Tip number 1, you can use your early retention signals to make projections of longer-term retention. So in this phase, we will gather early baseline retention, usually focused on player behavior for the first 7 days. This will get you a basis for projecting out a retention curve and make projections for day 30 retention and beyond. We can't always wait this many days to see how many people will stick around, so we have to project them out. These are easy to do baseline comparisons with and can indicate where to place monetization for the next stage. For example, if you have a lot of users retaining, it opens up the ability to monetize via ads.
Yeah, and this is where it can really help to be working with an experienced growth marketing team, a team that can bring in benchmarks from other games in your genre. So even if you might only have the first 7 days for your own game data, they can bring in comps and help you to build an accurate model so you can model for that longer term retention. Tip number 2. So in this phase, you're going to want to make sure you have very clean data telemetry in place. So when you're bringing players in through your user acquisition funnel, you can clearly see what's breaking in the user journey and then work with your product team to address those issues. For example, if you are seeing that you have placed a login screen very early in the flow and 80% of your users are dropping off at that login screen, that's a hint that you want to try moving that login screen to later in the onboarding process. Similarly, if you're seeing that your first-time user experience, the typical like user onboarding education, is too long and people aren't completing it, you might want to try shortening it. However, if you do this, you want to see if it has an impact on your longer term retention, because this might also mean that you're not educating people about as much of the gameplay. So this is why it's really important that you're measuring the full funnel and where those events are impacting retention.
Tip number 3, get qualitative feedback and play your game. The first people that can give you feedback on how your game will retain is your own team and your own studio and publisher. This is also a great opportunity for Web3 teams to include their community in the testing phase and have people not involved in the day-to-day of the studio give feedback on the game and its performance and how much people want to come back and play the game each day. Game teams not playing their own game is a mistake we see almost every team make and is one of the easiest to avoid.
Yeah, it's crazy how many times we've been working on an early stage game launch and there's some critical retention issue, and then just our team picking it up and playing it for 5 minutes makes it extremely clear what the issue is. So you can do this yourself. There's no magic to it. Just take a few minutes to play your game at each critical release.
So now you understand a bit more about the retention phase of soft launch. If you liked what you heard and want to learn more, check us out at uptick.com or be on the lookout for our next video where we talk through monetization.
Thanks, y'all.